I'm going to launch myself any moment.
Absolutely.
Unless you want to get hit.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm your Chief Sergeant at Arms, Rajiv Nayak speaking. Welcome on board Take DeBait Toastmasters flight number 31. President Lavanya Lakshman, our captain, is in command. The time taken for our journey will be approximately 1 hour 52 minutes. We will be serving you with one debate as an appetizer, 2 project speeches as main course, and the table topic session as a sweet dish, wherein you can make your own sweet dish with ingredients provided by the topic master. Lastly, open your bars and enjoy the cognacs and Baileys as we serve you with evaluation. Now a bit about our parent company. Toastmasters International is a non-profit organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. Founded by Dr. Ralph Smedley in 1924, headquartered in Englewood, Colorado, the organization's crew membership presently exceeds 350,000 in more than 16,800 clubs in 143 countries, and the number keeps changing every day. Since 1924, Toastmasters International has helped for diverse backgrounds become more confident speakers, communicators, and leaders. The mission of Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. A vision statement declares a vision of the future. Few safety rules and regulations which we take for every flight. Kindly rename yourselves properly instead of mobile numbers, pet names, or acronyms. Honestly, we are not interested in knowing that. Keep your mobiles in silent as it interferes with the club communications. Also request you all to adhere to the 3 no's policies. No sex, religion, or politics mentioned during their speeches or other Toastmastering activities. And since this is online, feel free to switch off your video and mute your mics in case you are in a mood. What you don't hear or see cannot be construed as a violation. On this note, it's now time to request you all to help me welcome the awe-inspiring and charming president of our club, Toastmaster Lavanya Lakshman.
Thank you, Rajiv, for that wonderful introduction and opening. A pleasant evening to one and all. With the power vested in me as the president of Take DeBait Club, I declare meeting number 31 open. A warm welcome to fellow Toastmasters and guests. First, I would like to acknowledge the presence of dignitaries in attendance. Immediate past District 105 Director, DTM Robin Anand. Thank you for joining us today. We are also privileged to have amongst our members, District 105 PR Manager, DTM Deepa Surendran, Division L Director, Stephen George, and Area 50 Director, Sharon Kuruvilla. I see quite a few guests in attendance. If this is your first time to take debate meeting, I would request you to take 15 seconds and introduce yourself, your name, and what or who brought you here. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. Good evening, everyone. I'm Archana. I'm from Human Rights Toastmasters in Abu Dhabi. And I was here the last meeting for the debate session. It was really interesting. It was amazing. It was thrilling. And Divya invited me to the club last week. And I just said yes. And now I'm really nervous because it's going to be one of my 3rd or 2nd debate in life. So I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Welcome, Archana.
Hi, all. My name is Praveen Gupta, and I used to belong to Kanu Toastmasters. That was my home club. I started my Toastmastering journey in Kanu many years ago. I've been on sabbatical for some time when one fine day, my old friend, Hemant Mundra, no, he's not old, he's very young, but we have been friends for a long time. So he kind of nudged me and invited me into this meeting. I'm not nervous at all, so happy to be part of this meeting.
Welcome, Praveen. Who next?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Uday Saul. I've always been interested in debates. So I heard that there was a debate going on, and I'm really interested to know how this meeting proceeds. Do you have debates every meeting, or is it only this meeting?
Every meeting we have debate.
Okay, that's great. So I'm also from Humoroids, and I look forward to this meeting. Thank you.
Welcome, Uday.
Hey,
Who's
good evening,
next?
everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good
This
evening.
is Biju Nair. I'm part of Alnada, Tejas, and Farmship Club. I was part of the Alnada team in Division I for the debate. So this makes me to pull in for the session here. But interesting to see what is next going to happen. Let me listen and watch. That's it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Right. So I think I'll go next. My name is Vamsi Shastri. I basically am part of TGIS Toastmasters Club. I basically got invited by DTM Hemant. He pretty much said that there is something really special which is going to happen in the day's meeting. I'm a big fan of debating. I've been with Toastmasters for the last 2 years and looking forward to see how the session goes. Apologies for all the racket. I'm just finishing my evening jog.
Welcome, Vamsi. Next.
Hi, good evening. I am Miriam from Crescent Toastmasters Club in Sharjah. I'm a guest of GTM DVRaj, and I find your name very interesting and catchy. All the best for your meeting.
Thank you. Welcome. Rama.
Hi, I'm Rama. I've been invited by Lavanya, and I've never done a debate at all. So it's going to be my first time. I'm actually going to experience it as well. And looking forward to see how it goes. Thank you very much, Lavanya.
Welcome, Rama.
Hi.
Any other guests?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm Sujit. Can I?
Yes, Sujit, go ahead.
Ravi actually invited me. He has been inviting from a long time, and I belong to Humoroids Toastmasters, and my friend Dave is also attending a debate today, so I thought I would give some moral support, though he doesn't need any. So I'm here. That's it.
Welcome, Sujit.
Thank you.
Who do we have next?
Hello.
Hi.
Go ahead, please. So hi, my name is Manoj. I used to be a member of Kanu Toastmasters Club like Praveen. It's been a while since I've done anything at Toastmasters. In fact, I'm not a member right now. I'm trying to attend a few meetings to hopefully get a feel and join Toastmasters again. I've been invited to take debate by Lavanya, Vinod, Divya, a whole lot of others. Hopefully I'll get the feel and join Toastmasters again quite soon.
Welcome, Manoj. We will send the membership from. So, who is?
Hi.
Hi, Zahir.
Hello. My name is Zahir. I'm from Basharia Toastmasters Club. I'm the VP of membership there. And Archana and the team invited me today to witness the debate. I'm pretty new to debating as well. Recently took part in the District 105 debate contest for Area H, Division H, can't remember. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. I've been actually meaning to attend other clubs meetings, and being invited by Archana today, I came out of my comfort zone to see what other clubs are doing. So I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for having me.
Welcome, Zahir. Who is next? Noor?
May I? Yes. Hi, my name is Noor. I'm from Desert Voices Toastmasters Club, and I'll be participating in the debate today. I was invited by Toastmaster Divya, and I'm excited to see how it goes. Thank you for having me.
And I would like to acknowledge the dignitary who just joined us. That is DTM District 105 Program Quality Director, DTM Guruvinder. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm not in my formal, so I would try to keep my camera off. I'm not really in the PQD ad today. I am gate crashing. I asked Sandeep if I could come in because Robin is doing a debate. I need to see what he's doing.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Welcome. We have Prajil. Prajil, could you introduce yourself?
Good evening. How are you?
Good.
This is my first session in the debate club. I'm actually a member of the Burj Toastmasters. I love the name, so I took the bait to come to the debate club. So I would love to see this session, and I'm going to enjoy it. Thank you for the time.
Welcome. Anyone? Any more guests?
Yeah, me. Good evening. My name is Dave, and I'm also a member of Hemorrhoids. I'm looking forward to this evening's debate since I'm a part of it. But basically, I came here to support Sujit, who is here for the first time.
Welcome, Dave. I see a cheerleader squad. Any other guests?
Hi, good evening. This is Sudarshan here.
Good evening.
I happened to catch the post on District 105 WhatsApp group, and when I saw Vinod is hosting the session, I said I should be here, and that's the only reason why I'm here today.
Oh, welcome, Sudarshan.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you all with us today evening. Unlike other Toastmaster clubs, we are primarily a debate club. We believe not in raising our voice, but in improving our arguments. Now, I would like to take a moment and celebrate our victories along the journey. It gives me an immense pleasure to announce one of the members who joined Toastmasters 6 years ago has recently achieved coveted and well-deserved title of Distinguished Toastmaster, the highest award given to a Toastmaster. A huge congratulations to Divya Raj. As a family, we have one more reason to celebrate. We have achieved our very first DCP point. For the guest, what is a DCP point? It's a quantifiable measure of club's quality. In a year, you are given 10 points to achieve across educational, membership, and administrative sections. So we have achieved our very first point by adding new members. And it's time we officially welcome the new members to Take Debate family. And the best person to do to welcome them is someone who has done most of the work behind the scene and has come up with the interesting, innovative WhatsApp intro. Our Vice President Membership, DTM Hemant Mundra, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lavanya. Welcome all the members and the Toastmaster guests and the non-Toastmaster guests. And a special welcome to the 3 new joinees. Pooja Baburaj, who is a first-time Toastmaster, joined the debate club. And her lay to claim to this membership lies in her member of the debate club of the college, her college in Sharjah, American University. She has been in Dubai for last 25 years and she has been born here also. And my intention is not to disclose her age by this fact. She is an HR professional. Diversity and inclusion is the new vertical of the HR she is heading in her firm Lever Brothers, Hindustan Lever, and not Hindustan Lever, the Unilever. And by 2024, she wants to be in the Forbes 30 list. So we should support her in getting that coveted place. And during the debate, when she participates for the first time, watch her mindset. Welcome, Pooja. Is your video on?
No, unfortunately not, because I'm trying to balance my work while paying attention to the call. But thank you so much for the introduction.
So you heard the voice, and soon next time you will see the face also.
Yeah,
welcome,
thank
Pooja.
you so much.
The next in list is our area director, own area director, Sharon, who joined. So she is here today in her capacity as a member of the Take Debate Club, and I know for sure that she will not put anything about the area today. And she wants to be the world-renowned motivational speaker. So if any member during this COVID time is feeling sort of motivation, they can contact Sharon about it. And she loves to listen to Bollywood and Malayalam songs in a pastime. And she has been in Toastmaster for last 4.5 years. Welcome, Sharon, to this club. And you have made this club the home club of the area director. Thank you, Sharon, for this. Can we see you?
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
I'm here. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Sharon. Next is the evergreen known to anyone, but still needs to be welcomed formally to our club is Shamira Khan. The name is enough for us to know that who is Samira Khan. But as far as my memory goes, she has been the only consistent performer on the stage in the category of humor. And her humor has always been original, no copy paste, no husband wife, always has been original. And she has proved by reaching the final of the DTAC in humor category, and she has won the DTAC championship in 2017 in the international speech category. And right now she is plastering the town with her stand-up comedy. But here, today and every time, she wants to be the darling of table topics master. So Steven, your first speaker should be Samira Khan today. Welcome, Samira, to Take Debate Toastmaster Club. Can we see you? Can we hear you? Okay. Over to you, Lavanya.
Thank you, Hemant. Thank you for that welcome. Now, to introduce you to the person who will be leading the rest of the meeting. He's so good with his words that when he tells you to go to hell, you would actually look forward to the trip. If you don't believe me, just read the minutes of our last meeting. Your first impression of this person would be he's serious and cold, but he's very emotional. You should have seen his eyes welling up when Iron Man died. Unfortunately, he's also high maintenance. If he was a woman, the store would have promotions named after him. Black Friday, White Friday, Vinoda Wednesday. He has given his parents a big list of qualities he wanted in a potential bride. Then he went ahead and married a girl who was the exact opposite of all those qualities. If you ask him why, he will get all philosophical and tell you, life partner is a best friend. Life partner is someone around whom you can be your true self. Translation: when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Please help me welcome Toastmaster of the evening, Vinod Raman.
Good evening, everybody. And yes, most married people do tend to struggle when it comes to translating their spouse's requirements. Speaking of, those of you who've been around for a while will remember how much I used to love talking about weddings and marriage and all of that. Not so much after I've gotten married myself, of course. But you see, our people get very excited when they're at weddings. Sometimes they get so excited that they forget that English is not their first language and that literal translations don't always come across as politically correct. You see, a couple of years ago, I was at a Malayali wedding and Thomas, who I just met, very enthusiastically comes up to me and figure out how in God's name you answer that question. Later in the day, the best man walks in a bit late, like most of us Indians do, and he passes right in front of Thomas. Thomas decides to jump up on stage and yell, "Let's all welcome the late Mr. Benedict who just passed away in front of us." Poor Mr. Benedict got killed twice in one sentence. Now, the groom's sister was selflessly helping all of the guests with everything that they needed. So you can understand the tension when Thomas decided to announce to all the guests, "Everyone, please feel free to take advantage of the groom's sister." I'm looking at my ring and remembering being single used to have its advantages. But hey, not complaining. Now, speaking of guests, our greet master and VP membership, DTM Hemant Mundra, I asked him if he's had any such issues when it comes to translation. He spent a lot of time in Mumbai, and those who've been there or lived there would understand this part. He was always confused with the various dialects of Hindi and what the word, especially with words like bagal and baju. He was never sure if people were asking him to go next door or to go do his armpits. Thankfully for us, our VP membership, he's not sending anyone next door. He's making sure they walk in our door. So thank you so much, DTM Hemant, for being the best greet master there ever was. Now, we're going to move on and jump straight into our first item on the agenda, which is our debate. And to moderate this particular debate, we have one of our members who, back in the day when he was starting out his career, he was also finding his feet in the English and Hindi languages. And one day at work, when an argument broke out between three of his colleagues, he had the unfortunate task of trying to translate this to a North Indian manager who himself wasn't very good with the English language. This is how the conversation went. I talk, he talk, but other he talk center and all fight. The manager did the only sensible thing. He ran away lest he say something and the fight centered on him. Today, Toastmaster Lakshman has come a long way, as you're about to witness. He can even mediate the toughest of arguments. Please welcome our debate moderator for the evening, Toastmaster A.B. Lakshmanan.
Thank you. Thank you, T.M. Modi, for this wonderful introduction. Okay, now, for team, he talks, and against him, he talks. No one talks center. Next what? Yes, I will talk, and then T.M. Modi talks. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. You know what doubt stands for? It stands for the debate on understanding B. Wilder Some Thoughts, said by William Gary, who is an American actor. We all are here to clear our doubts, and I'm desperate to clear my long-lasting doubt with the help of our powerful debaters. So now both the team, he and she, please clear our confusion on studying the second language is compulsory or not. The motion on the floor for our debate is studying second language is compulsory. I request the debaters to get ready and gear up for their position. Affirmative team represented by opening speaker Toastmaster Ajita. Are you there? Toastmaster Ajita, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Rebuttal speaker Toastmaster Devlal Shahadevan. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Closing speaker Toastmaster No.
Yes.
Are you there? Yeah. And negative team represented by opening speaker Toastmaster Archana. Are you there?
Present, sir.
Thank you. Rebuttal speaker Toastmaster Deepa Surendran. Are you there?
Yes.
And closing speaker Toastmaster Robin Anand. Are you there? Can I get the confirmation?
I'm there.
Thank you, sir. Ground rules. I know you would be tempted to fight and accuse your opponents. Please be advised to avoid debating against personal rather than debate against the subject. Timer rules are for opening and rebuttal speaker, allocated time is 3 minutes. Timer will show up a green on 2 minutes 30 seconds and red screen on 3 minutes. For closing speaker, allocated time is 2 minutes. Timer will show up green screen on 1 minute 30 seconds and red screen at 2 minutes. At the completion of, sorry?
The timing is 2:30, 2:40, 2:50. That is red, amber, and green, amber, and red. And then after 10 seconds, I will mute. At 3, I will mute. So
Okay,
red is at 2:50. Yeah.
Oh, 250. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then every 10 seconds you'll be getting lights. Green at 230, 240 amber, and 250 red. 3 minutes you will be muted. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. The sequence of the speaking order is opening speaker from affirmative team will start the debate, and then the opening speaker from the negative team will present his argument. Then rebuttal speaker from negative team will rebut, and then continue with the rebuttal speaker from affirmative team. At the end, the closing speaker of negative team will go first, and the last speaker of debate will be by closing speaker of affirmative team. Without taking much time, I would like to call the opening speaker from team for Toastmaster Ajita.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and a special good evening to my worthy opponents. My team and I stand for the motion studying a second language should be compulsory. Advantages of learning second language. Going to our first point, studying a second language should be compulsory. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be having this conversation at all. How many people attending this meeting speak English as their mother tongue? How many of us would have been in this country if we hadn't learned another language? Next point, over the past 5 years, the demand for bilingual workers in the United States has doubled. In 2010, there were roughly 240,000 job positions aimed at bilingual workers. By 2015, that figure had ballooned to approximately 630,000. Bureau of Labor Statistics says that between 2018 and 2028, the need for bilingual workers will go up to 19%. Idealist.org, July 2019 edition. Statistics also show that bilingual workers were paid on an average of 5% to 20% more than workers who spoke only one language. Next point, learning a new language helps with your first language. It helps to have your mother tongue observed more intuitively. Learning a new language also makes you a better listener, as you are used to having to interpret meaning and judge new phrases. Waterford.org, January 2019 edition. Next point, improves performance in other academic areas as a result of higher cognitive skills. Studies show that the benefits of learning a new language include higher scores in exams. Findings published in Annals of Neurology, a journal of the American Neurological Association and Child Neurology Society, states that bilingual people's brain age more slowly, and therefore they live longer and more satisfying lives. Being bilingual can actually delay neurological diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's. Medical News Today, February 7th, 2018 edition. Next point, we all know why a second language has always been compulsory, including our worthy opponents. If there is any doubt about it, please listen to the language they would be using this evening. If it is not their mother tongue, they have in fact joined our cause. Thus, my team and I request the House to pass the motion studying a second language should be compulsory. I rest my case over to the moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ajita. May I request opening speaker from team against Toastmaster Archana.
My worthy opponents and all gathered here, good evening. We believe that a second language certainly should not be made compulsory for all, but only optional for those who need it. Our team looked at defining a first language to anchor our thoughts about second languages. First languages are the languages we acquire by listening and observing in our early linguistic environments. It's a language that we use to think in And in a way, it's our operating language. For millions, their first language is their native language. For an Englishman, English is both a native language and a first language. English is also a first language for many individuals from post-colonial countries like India. A second language, on the other hand, is learned systematically based on syntaxes and translations of an individual's first languages. Some would require a second language due to their occupation or simply because they have the aptitude for learning languages. But for the others who have no interest or use for it, why should they be forcibly thrusted to learn a new language? We again would like to emphasize that studying a second language should not be made compulsory. Our opponents might argue that young children in middle school might not know what is good for them. But young people have to learn to make choices. It is better that students choose to study a language so that they are more likely to be interested than if it is something they are forced to do. And in any case, most adults do successfully learn new languages if they set their minds to. Choices made at school will not limit someone's option for the rest of their lives. I did not have an aptitude in studying languages. I was forced to learn Arabic from grade 7 to 10, and it was nothing short of a futile experience. All I got were bad grades, and I know no Arabic today. And I can promise you none of the other girls in my class have learned Arabic either. In hindsight, all that time wasted, I could have used to develop a vocational skill. Learning a second language can improve your cognitive abilities, but so does learning music or sports. But that doesn't make it a valid excuse to make anything mandatory just because it might be good for you. Today, our minds are besieged with excessive information. Simultaneously, the demand on our brains have increased exponentially. Shouldn't we then ease pressure on our minds by not burdening it with a second language and focus on core subjects that we do need in our day-to-day lives? Our opponents might assume that a second language is necessary to get along in a more interconnected world. We would like to point out that today, all information from any language is available a click away on an online translator. Plethora of apps are available that allow tourists to converse with strangers in any language anywhere in the world. And cultural understanding can be gained in subjects like history, religious studies, geography. So why at all tax yourself in learning a second language? It is wrong to force people with little interest or ability to study languages. We need to be maximizing our capabilities and skills or inherent interests and aptitudes. We therefore oppose the motion and strongly believe studying second language should not be made compulsory. Over.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Archana. Can everybody please mute yourself? Now, may I request rebuttal speaker from team against, Toastmaster Deepa Surendra. Toastmaster Deepa Surendra.
No, Robin Anand. No.
Divya, I am
Good
the
evening,
summary speaker.
Good to go. Good to go.
Good evening, members of the House. Ajita, Sugale, Endakante Vishesham. As you challenged me, I'm talking in Malayalam. Is it okay if I continue? If you are able to understand, if you have a translator to understand what I am trying to tell you in my language, I am ready to continue. Are you ready? Thank you, Anita and Ajita and my opposition team for making my rebuttal so easy today. Thank you very much. You had so much of statistics, but nothing was there to convince anybody sitting over here that making a second language, studying a second language is compulsory, has to be made compulsory. Studying a language or another language can be made at your will. If you are required to go for a job at UN, I congratulate you for opting, thinking about the job for the next generation, that such a good organization such as United Nations is offering jobs for bilinguals. Please go ahead and grab the jobs. I congratulate you for that particular decision or for that particular knowledge. But the thing is that why to make it compulsory? Why, if you are finding something good, that it is not a good thing to make it, forcefully applied on someone else, isn't it? I think the entire audience will agree to my point. Let the people who are passionate about learning languages, let them learn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, n number of languages. It's okay. But please don't make it compulsory. for the people who are the kids who are ready to study math, science, etc. by grabbing the time. If you want to learn a second language, then at least 6 months to 3 years is necessary. We have to spend that much time and effort to learn. And then what we are getting by forcing. See, student science, the aptitude based, those students, if they're forcing language on them, such as my opening speaker, the GPA will go low and then their confidence will be affected. For myself, although so many kids are there who are like lost, their confidence got affected because of forcing a language. So everybody, majority of us sitting over here must be thinking that, oh my God, let me finish my 10th so that I can focus on my the subjects I want to learn with with the passion. So now, Ajita, I mean, my opening speaker already mentioned this debate here today wouldn't have happened if we don't know about English. So what? We are not human, as human beings, we are not living to be here and participate in a debate. How many billions of people are there outside sitting happily, enjoying the day and night without debating in English. So that is not a reason, right?
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepa. May I request now to call the rebuttal speaker from Team 4, Toastmaster Devlal Sahadevan. Stage for you.
Good evening, everyone. Special good evening to our worthy opponents who have already been speaking in their second language. First of all, I would like to clarify the topic for you. It wasn't that the study of second language is compulsory and for children in their primary school. That was not the topic. So I believe you must have been a bit confused, which is why he kept saying why children must be forced to study something. That was not even the topic. One of the first things they also mentioned was that a language is acquired, especially the mother tongue, and the other language, I don't know how you get that. Is that something that is injected in your veins? Every language is acquired through effort. Sometimes a certain language would require a bit more effort simply because you could not speak that on the first day when you were born. But isn't that just the way that isn't just the way a language works? You listen to someone, you interact, and over a period of time you become better in that language. He also mentioned that young people, why should they be forced into something? Why shouldn't be given a choice? Well, I believe the young people in this world, including you, were the opponents. You have already made the choice, which is why every single member, all the 3 members of our opponent's team, they all speak in more than 2 languages. You made the choice yourself. Nobody put a gun against your temple and asked you to study a second language. Then, what was that about music and sports which will help you develop cognitive ability? May I remind our worthy opponents, cognitive ability could be developed in multiple ways, but if you are stuck in a foreign country and if you have to speak converse to another person, are you going to sing a song in your mother tongue and make the person understand, or would you actually use a language? Demand on the brains. Science, it's common sense and of course basic science. Brain develops, functions, it gets better when the brain is put through that. That's just the way brain functions. It goes through exercises. Another point they came up with was called translation at the tip of your fingertips, and technology will help you. But how do you learn the technology in the first place? What language would you be learning that technology? And finally, well, let's not make anything compulsory. That was more like a poor complaint rather than a valid argument. Let us not force anybody to learn science, mathematics, arts, or language. Good luck with that. I rest my case.
Thank you, Toastmaster Devlal Sahadevan. Now I would like to call the closing speaker from Team Against, Toastmaster Robin Anand. Toastmaster Robin Anand.
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening to everybody, and A very good evening to my worthy opponents and smart linguists. What is freedom? Freedom is right to choose. Of choice. A man is not a man, but an instrument or a thing, said an American Pulitzer-winning poet, Archibald MacLeish. And that's the premise of our argument. It's all about choice. We are okay for us to learn many languages, but it should be optional and not mandatory. And like our first speaker said, if she doesn't have an aptitude for a language, why go and waste her time in learning that language? Because she could have used that time to pick up a life skill or a vocational skill, which would definitely give her more job opportunities. And secondly, we are talking about, now there was a point which I think our rebuttal speaker mentioned, 178 countries out of 200 plus world countries have one official language. Now, why is that? The reason is very simple. That is the most efficient and effective way to operate. And coming to English, we speak in English, but that's our main language. The other language, I don't know Malayalam. I don't know how to write Malayalam or read Malayalam. So I just speak because I hear the language, but I'm not an expert in that language. Now, our opening speaker mentioned about app and translators. I think if you are aware of your phone, if you just speak on the phone in the language that you're speaking, it will translate for you. You don't really need any special skills for that. And finally, coming to the point that you made about cognitive skills. Now, are you serious? I mean, you really need a language to improve your cognitive skills? I'll give you a very simple tip. There's a very nice book by Tony Buzan, which is about age-proofing your brain. So I think if all of you read that, that should be great. So I finally rest my case saying it should not be compulsory, but optional. Yes, we can have.
Thank you, Toastmaster Robin Anand. Now I would like to call the closing speaker from Team 4 as a last speaker for this debate, Toastmaster No. Toastmaster No.
You can never understand one language until you understand at least two, said British author Geoffrey Willems. Members of the House, allow me to reinstate for the last time our team's motion that studying a second language should be compulsory. Our introductory speaker quoted figures which prove that bilingual workers are not only increasingly hired, but paid more than their monolingual counterparts. This is because bilingualism fosters higher mental cognizance, which creates flexibility in thought patterns. Therefore, one can study better in other areas of life, including one's own first language. Not only that, but knowing two languages encourages empathy towards other people's customs, cultures, and way of life. Our rebuttal speaker firmly refuted the arguments posed by stating that, in fact, our opponent speakers weren't even answering the question, as they were focusing specifically on children. Moreover, at the end of the day, when we are set to travel in another country, the best way to communicate your point isn't through music or art or science, it's through language. And even if you do use a translation application, this only comes through the learning of a language, likely a second. Our argument rings clear, even just from the fact that 90% of people in this Zoom room, if not more, are bilingual speakers, as our intro speaker rightly pointed out. Therefore, I firmly urge members of the House to vote for the motion that studying a second language should be compulsory. And with that, j'ai terminé, or should I say, I rest my case.
Thank you, Toastmaster Noor. As a token of appreciation to our fellow debaters, I request a thunder of round of applause from all the participants. Would you please? I thought you guys will clarify my doubts. Rather, you guys aggravated my doubts and made me further confused with your seasoned debating skills. At least I can expect now from the member of House to vote wisely for the winning debate team to clear my confusion. Indeed, it was a great debate. I have thoroughly enjoyed today's debate. Over to you, TMOD. TMOD Vinod.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lakshmanan. Let's all give Toastmaster Lakshmanan a big hand. And before we move on, we're going to open the polls right now for voting. And Toastmaster Rajiv will be opening the first poll, and this would be for the best debate team. So please go ahead and vote for who you think is the best debate team. All of you who are co-hosts, unfortunately, will not be able to vote. It's almost neck and neck. All right, I'm sure there's a few more people to vote. There's 43 participants, 43 attendees, but there's only 31 votes so far. So please do cast your votes. Rajiv, probably keep it open till the 1 minute mark, and then we can move to the next poll, which will be for the best debater.
Done.
All right, Toastmaster Rajiv will shortly be posting the second poll for the best debater. And probably to fill the silence, I'll let you know, I was listening to Archana saying that she was forced to study Arabic in the last few years of schooling. I grew up here in Abu Dhabi and I had to study English, Arabic, Malayalam, and Hindi, and later French as well. I had to choose between Hindi and French. So that was quite a few languages that were forced upon me. And I managed to skip the Malayalam classes, which reflects in my ability in my own mother tongue right now. But what I didn't remember to do was to let my classmates know that I would not be attending the class. So unfortunately, when one of them decided to come home and my parents asked, how is the Malayalam classes going on? They said, we haven't seen Vinod there. So yeah, that was one of many issues that I faced at home when it came to schooling and languages. All right, Toastmaster Rajiv, can we close the poll? Thank you so much. Now, moving along to the next part of our meeting where we have prepared speeches. This is something that we are going to make consistent for the coming year. And today we have two speakers. For the benefit of first-time attendees, what you're about to witness is where our members or the speakers would give prepared speeches against a set of objectives that will be read out first by their evaluators, and then they will be evaluated against those objectives. Our first speaker today is going to be doing her icebreaker. Before I introduce her, can I ask her evaluator, Toastmaster Sandeep, to please read out her objectives.
Good evening, everyone. Toastmaster Melita today is starting her journey in pathways, and the first project of any pathways path is the icebreaker. The purpose of this speech is for the member to introduce herself to the club and to learn the basic structure of a public speech. The time for this speech is 4 to 6 minutes. Timer, please note 4 green, 5 amber, 6 red. All the best to the speaker.
All right. Now, Toastmaster Melita had her translation travesty when she dragged herself out of bed one lazy morning. And at work, she got a call from the chief accountant asking if the finance director would be available to sign off on some documents. When asked if it was urgent, he replied saying, yes, it is a performance guarantee for a company that deals in erections. Toastmaster Melita, who obviously didn't have all her faculties working at the time, without thinking, sent the same message to the top gun, the finance director, saying, your presence is wanted as we have to give a performance guarantee to a company that deals in erections. Please welcome the Queen of Puns, the district champion at the 2018 International Speech Contest with her speech title, Melodrama Who? Toastmaster Melita D'Souza.
Thank you very much, TM Modi, DTM Vinod. Melodrama Who?
Instruction 1, cover your face when you go out. Sounds familiar to you? Did you begin hearing this a mere 5 months ago? Well, not me. I've been hearing it forever. Was there a pandemic then too? Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. In February 2020, Corona made an entry into this world, and in February 1972, so did I. Indian mothers are overprotective and paranoid, and my mum, she has a PhD in it. She would cover my head, ears, and nose with a horrendous monkey cap. You know those woolen ones? Until I turned 5. In Bombay to boot, which clearly explains why my brains are fried. The same was repeated with my younger brother, who was born 2 years later. Doffed in exact headgear, we looked like Siamese twins from the North Pole. Instruction 2, don't interact with strangers, was mandate. When we moved to sweltering Mangalore, and I was enrolled in a convent that I studied in for 14 years, which also explains why I had foot in the mouth disease as extolled by our illustrious TMOD a few seconds ago. I lacked social skills clearly. I took this so seriously that I failed at almost every subject in school. See, they were total strangers. Instruction 3, social distancing. When I joined law college, which was a co-ed, I was warned to maintain a minimum of 2 feet distance from the boys. Ironically, this only got me more attention than I deserved, and I became the subject of some serious ragging. Instruction 4, wear gloves. Married off at 20, I was caught to wear velvet gloves while dealing with my new family. Pesky as I was, my poor parents were petrified that I would be packed off at the earliest to their home if my base nature manifested. I learned to rinse my mouth and my head with soap water often, like we now do our hands, lest I was lost in translation. Instruction 5, use sanitizers. Sigh, this was for my runaway mouth as I was growing my 2 children up so that their vocabulary wouldn't be as colorful as mine. Children may never be good at listening to what their parents say, but they never fail to imitate them, a teaching I very quickly inculcated when I was called to my son's school. His first day at kindergarten, and he was asked to sing a rhyme. My wonderful son belts out, "We don't need no education," by Pink Floyd. His teachers were not amused, and I was asked whether I would consider homeschooling the child since I seemed to have such disdain towards formal education. Instruction 6, wear a mask. Societal teachings that disallow you to be yourself, lest you are misunderstood, became second nature during this serious business called life. Authenticity seemed to have lost its flavor, and following the herd was feted as the acceptable norm. In doing so, I lost myself in the transition and the translation of being real and being popular. Haven't we always worn a mask? Rumination is one of my fortes, and my passion dwells in reading and writing blogs. Lessons learned then from this pandemic and the melodrama called life are authenticity and staying true to oneself is the only thing that is sustainable. The new normal is being you. The best version of you. This comes with a price, and you may lose a few in transition and translation. But when you look at the woman in the mirror, you see a reflection of your soul, not someone else's clone. King Solomon was trying to humble his wisest servant, so he asked him to perform a seemingly impossible task, to find something that does not exist. He requested a magic ring, one that if a sad man found would make him happy, and a happy man found would make him sad. The story suggests that the servant could not find anything of such nature. So King Solomon decided upon himself to go to a jeweler and design a ring with an inscription in Hebrew saying, Gamze ya avor, which means, this too shall pass. Ladies and gentlemen, we will all one day look back at this time and say, melodrama, who? Because this too shall pass. Over to you, DTM Vinod Atiyamori.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Melita. To all of our members and guests, if you could take 30 seconds and give her some feedback as either a private message or to everyone in the chat window. All right. Our second speaker is to be evaluated by Toastmaster Hariharan. Can I please ask Toastmaster Hariharan to read out the objectives?
The Toastmaster is attempting his second speech in the manual from Pathways, and the purpose statement of this particular speech is apparently the speaker has already given a speech and has received feedback. So this time the speaker would have to incorporate all that feedback that he or she has received and ensure the speech is built around that. So the purpose statement of this is, the purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he or she has applied the feedback received from his or her first speech. Time is 5 to 7 minutes, 5 green, 6 amber, 7 red with a 30-second grace period. All the best to the speaker. And over to you, Toastmaster of the day, my best friend, DTM Vinod Rao.
Thank you so much, DTM Hariharan. Our second speaker is always having issues at home, and I'm not talking only about the technical issues that he braved to get into this meeting. He just joined us a few minutes ago. His parents and sister are always giving him instructions, and he, like every man, hears exactly what he wants to hear. At only 19 years of age, he definitely has a bright future ahead of him. To give his speech titled Free Bird, please welcome Toastmaster Pranav Trikanad.
Before I begin, I would like to know if I'm audible.
Yes, you are, Pranav. And
Clear
visible.
and audible, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Should I begin?
Yes, Pranav, the stage is yours.
Yeah. Thanks to COVID-19, now that everyone is in the stay home, stay safe zone, traveling for fun being the last thing on the cards. Wouldn't it be nice to listen to a travel story? My travel story? The solo trip that pushed me a step further towards my independence? As a child, I used to be overprotective. My sister could go out anywhere she wanted. But when it came to me going on my own, tens and thousands of questions would crop up. How will he manage alone? Won't it be too cold for him? Will he be able to bear the heat? What will he eat? What will he drink? Etc., etc. fellow travelers, travel lovers, and to all those who love traveling, a very good evening. My story dates back to March 2018 when I was 16 years old. I took a solo trip to India as a free boy and got my first taste of fun and freedom during this trip. This trip was just before my grade 12 commenced, so that I could start my new academic year with renewed energy and vigor. Well, at least this is the reason I gave my dad to convince him to let me travel alone. Once he was on my side, I put the ball in his court to convince my mom. Approvals done. Next was the planning of the trip independently. I planned and organized my stay all by myself. Definitely my parents wouldn't allow me to go and stay alone in hotels. So I contacted my uncles and cousins back in India and I made sure that I was independent. Finally, the D-Day arrived. All my bags were packed. But just before we left for the airport, I noticed that apart from my bag, there was another large suitcase packed and kept. When I asked my mom, she said, "These are gifts for our relatives. Just hand over these to them. Don't forget grandma too." But mom, this will be too heavy to carry everywhere. Pranav, don't worry. Once you hand over the gift, it will become lighter. It is worth the trouble. Though not fully convinced by this decision, I did not want to jeopardize my first taste of freedom. Hence, I agreed. Landed in India, reached Pune by bus to meet the people I love the most, my aunt and my granny. Next stop, Mangalore, to meet my dad's youngest cousin and second cousins. At the Mangalore airport, my dad's cousin was already waiting for me with my band of second cousins. I felt like a cricketer being greeted by his fans. I had a ball of a time with them, gallivanting on the Bangalore metro. Next stop, Mangalore, to meet my dad's youngest brother and my cousins. Though my flight to Mangalore was pretty delayed, I thoroughly enjoyed my stay there. The days just flew by, and it was my time to fly back to Dubai. I would have given anything for my holidays to last long. But beggars can't be choosers. My school was to begin the same day I landed in Dubai. Amidst all the excitement and fun, I did not forget what my mother had told me. I handed over the gifts and I noticed the smiles on their faces. And I realized that it was definitely worth the trouble. What I did not expect was that for each gift I gave, I would get a return gift, not only for me, but my entire family. When I asked them, they all said in unison, "It's a surprise." So here I was, after an enriching, exuberating, and enthralling 12 days trip, with my mind filled with memories, heart filled with joy, and of course, a large suitcase packed with surprises. At the Dubai airport, the customs official asked me, "What is in that box?" I did not know what was there, so I just said, "It's a surprise." Annoyed, he shouted, "Shoo hada maskara." I started sweating profusely as I really did not know what was there inside. In the meanwhile, he ripped open the suitcase, cut open the box, and removed what was inside. To my surprise, and maybe his as well, it was Alfonso mangoes. I was let go, and I came out to see my family waiting for me. I rushed to them, hugged them, and said, "It's great to be back home." This trip not only invigorated me, but also built my confidence, planning and executing skills. And it took me a step further towards telling my parents that I could be independent. I would like to leave you all with a quote by Oliver Wendell Holmes. A mind stretched by a new experience will never go back to its old dimensions. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pranav. Before I ask our timer to let us know about the timings and we go to the voting, can I ask everyone to just quickly switch on your cameras so that we can take a group picture before the makeup wears off? All right. No. Come on, you. All right, thank you so much. Now, with that, first, can I ask our timer, DTM Divya, to please announce the timings for each of the speakers?
Both the speakers have qualified. Toastmaster Melita took 6 minutes and 25 seconds and Toastmaster Pranav took 6 minutes and 20 seconds.
Great. Thank you so much, DTM Divya. Now, can I please ask Toastmaster Rajiv to activate the polls? Only Toastmasters can vote here. Doesn't matter which club you're part of, but only Toastmasters.